if you actually had investigated this a little bit further, if Nick had investigated it a little bit further, he would have found out that there are instances where adults are allowed to do a head count. It's the Department of Human Services. So for people who are asking, like, what could have been done here, you look up. Child care facilities are obviously rigorously examined. Okay, there's a license. There's a licensing process that gets renewed every year. And at a random time throughout the year, there is a member of the state from the Human Services Division that goes to the kindergarten without telling them ahead of time. And they obviously have the proper documentation when they're entering the place, right? And they do a head count, they look at the conditions, and they see whether or not the children are in like a stable condition. And if this daycare facility actually has like substandard conditions or decent conditions. Anyway, there's updates on the Somaliapolis, developing federal agents on ground probing Minnesota fraud. I wonder how much money is being spent on this, which is ironic because it's like, I suspect that the amount of funds being expended here, when there is already an active investigation into the fraud that's taking place, it's just, probably not the best use of tax funds at all, but obviously.
Kristi Noem posting video of Homeland Security investigators on the ground in Minneapolis, saying they are, quote,
It's just funny because it's like they're doing the same shit that they were doing after the Brown University shooting, like kicking up snow. All right. But instead of kicking up snow, they're just like kind of annoying Somali business owners, I guess. But it's dumb fuck PR, and the morons will eat it up. They will literally be like, "Oh hell yeah, brother, that's right. I can sleep soundly at night tonight."
Conducting a massive investigation on childcare and other rampant fraud. Their investigation following a viral video that now has nearly 114 million views on X, where independent journalist Nick Shirley appears to show daycares and other businesses that received millions in state funds.
Dude, I genuinely can't believe that you can just like go to random fucking childcare facilities, some in operation, some closed, and just yell outside of them, demanding to see all the children inside. And then if it goes viral enough on Twitter, the Department of Homeland Security will go and do a PR piece for you. It's so devastating because like conservatives are the only group in this country that's actually responsive to their base. And it sucks because like the only thing that the base wants is just stupid shit. Like I wish that they were this aggressive about like demanding healthcare or demanding to cut ties with Israel. You know what I mean? They just do fucking rage bait over and over again. And the administration, of course, is like, oh, hell yeah, we love rage bait. We will satiate your appetite for humiliating the Somali population, maybe even deport a couple. I get what you're saying, but how else would fraud like this be discovered? Isn't awareness like this a good thing? Brother, this guy didn't discover anything. There is already an active court case. Oh my God. There are literally people who think this guy unironically uncovered like some serious fraud happening. I'm losing my fucking mind. It's so crazy because like I already reported on this before, and mainstream media has already reported on this extensively. Atrioc did a video that had a thumbnail implying that. Yeah, it's because he fucking wants to farm the algo into oblivion. And also he personally got duped by it too, it seems. You didn't get the VP? What do you mean? Sounds like you're just jealous, little bro. Bro, it's literally like harassing. It's literally like harassing. Oh my God, I saw back and forth with him, Twitter, pure comedy when you cooked him, but you can see how unserious he is when he invoked Collargate. Yeah, of course. It's like the automatic. It's like if there was a, in a sea of white criminals, let's say there was like a black person that did the same exact kind of crime, okay, that white people are doing, right? By and large, overwhelming majority of child predation is happening in the hands of white men. Let's say there's one time there's like a black dude that does it. Then this YouTuber, while this like active court case is happening, starts going up to random black people and being like, "You're a pedophile. You're a pedophile. You're a pedophile. I demand you prove to me that you're not a pedophile." And then everyone goes, "See, clearly there's an active court case taking place with this one black guy that's doing has done pedophilia. I think it's pretty valid that these other black people might be doing pedophilia as well. Actually, thank God this guy is shining a light on black people doing pedophilia." That's what it's like. It's like fucking, there is a real story here. There's a real court case that took place. There's a real investigation that took place. This guy, ironically enough, didn't even fucking bring that up for most of the video. I don't think that's true. No, there is a real active investigation that started in 2022 under the Brandonian regime, okay? This is not ain't even a straw man. This is Wicker Man. What? Ain't a straw man, it's a Wicker Man. What are you talking about? This is an analogy to try to help people understand what this guy is fucking doing. The investigation is already ongoing. There are people who have been charged. There are people who have been convicted. Okay? This guy didn't even bring that up in his fucking video. It's so crazy that he didn't even bring that up in the fucking video. That's what's so crazy. Also, a real concern how Noam is there. The whole bunch of kids about to be kidnapped and deported. I mean, the overwhelming majority, if not the entirety of the Somali population is American citizens anyway. So unless ICE just straight up starts kidnapping American citizens, you know, which could happen, they're not going to really find a lot of Somali people to deport. That's part of the reason why a lot of the Somali Americans on TikTok have been making these like, "Oh, Minneapolis was promised to us 3,000 years ago" jokes. And the reason why they can get away with doing that is because they know they're all fucking American citizens, right? But what they don't realize, and I said this even at the time when I first was looking at the memes, is that right-wingers are, I think, too racist to understand that these guys are joking. I think right-wingers think that like Somalis are doing like the Zionist memes sincerely. It's crazy.
With no kids inside. Correspondent Garrett Tenney.
This is not harassment. I'm going to come to your neighborhood with my fucking camera crew and demand to film your children, okay? I'm going to figure out where your kids go to daycare. I'm going to go knock on the door of the daycare and demand to see your child. Do you consider that to be harassment? Yes or no? That's freedom, baby. My God-given right.
More.
Yeah, Molly, the latest example of these fraud schemes in Minnesota are child care centers where rampant fraud has seemingly been allowed to go on for years now. Quality Learning Center is just one of the child care centers that federal investigators are now looking into. And there are plenty of red flags, starting with the sign on its building that doesn't even spell learning right. Over the past 3 years, the business has been cited for more than 120 violations for all kinds of things, including for not having proper documentation for all of the kids there.
HasanAbi threatens to mog local children. Yes, I will mog your children, okay? I'll walk up to them and I'll tell them that they ain't shit, okay? I'll tell them that their tibular is fucked up. I will give them crippling body dysmorphia at the age of 5. I don't care. I'll walk up to them and I'll say, "Listen, baby, you don't even mog. Okay? This baby is a PSL 3 at best. Okay? At best at PSL 3. Ain't nobody's playing home with this one, okay? Nobody. Take the baby's toys away. Or better yet, give the baby a toy hammer so the baby can start breaking his bones. Actually, at that age, I feel like your skull is even more malleable, right? You can just like start moving your skull around to make sure you have the Chad Alpha Dog face. You can make the baby look like handsome Squidward. Yeah, subclinical mandibular aspect ratio mog. Get mog, baby. Get the baby to start thumb pulling. A lot of babies are out here thumb sucking. They should be thumb pulling. Make sure that their jaw is not recessed. Okay. You feel me?
Despite that, from 2019 to 2024, the business received nearly $8 million in federal tax money, according to the local ABC station. Shirley also went to other child care centers across the Twin Cities where he says...
Dude, I love saying those terms, though. A suboptimal Marxilla. I don't even know if that's the correct term or not. I just love throwing that shit around. I get why the looks maxing shit is so stupid, but it is so captivating for many.
There were similar red flags.
We're just wondering where the children are.
Who are you?
We'd like to ask where the money's going. Look at that. Shut us down. Where are the children at? No children inside of this daycare center.
Dog, why would they? The craziest part about it is if any of those places unironically opened their doors to this random dickhead, that would be illegal. Are you fucking kidding me? It is literally not legal for these places to allow random people, random adults that come in with a fucking camera crew too. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Yeah, of course they're gonna close the door in your fucking face. That's what's so crazy about it, where it's like, I swear to God, if this guy did this to white child care facilities, even amidst like in a Republican neighborhood, okay, in a right neighborhood, in like Alabama or whatever, and there is like an active investigation into like a church-backed, child care center fraud that's taken place, and you had like a black dude walk up, okay, a liberal guy walk up to these different places and be like, show me the white babies inside, okay, and you had all these fucking Christian people closing the door, they would have shot the dude by the third place he went to. By the time he went to the third child care center, he would have been shot in the fucking head. It would have been a massive ordeal. It would have been a story that they would defend, the Republicans would defend for generations. Could you imagine? Black liberal from New York, possibly gay, goes down to Alabama to investigate active fraud happening in like, all the white Christian child centers. It's not even a question. They would fucking kill the guy. Then tell people how else is the problem camera being there. I know that you didn't answer my question without getting angry. How else? I've explained it a million times over. First, you go to the Department of Human Services, okay? There's a state website. Sad you have to create hypothetical situations to validate your delusions. To validate my delusions, there is nothing delusional about this. You are the delusional one. If you think that you can go to your local child care center with two guys in balaclavas and a camera in tow and demand to see the children there, if you think that you are not getting the door slammed in your fucking face, you are delusional. Of course they're going to slam the fucking door in your face. You got no credentials. You're just a random dickhead. Why the fuck would anybody open the door to you? It's illegal. I agree you can't, but no one is doing that without reason. Brother, I don't think you understand. Just because you agree with his actions doesn't mean that the random daycare facility is going to open the fucking doors. Of course they're going to slam the door shut in your face. If you actually had investigated this a little bit further, if Nick had investigated it a little bit further, he would have found out that there are instances where adults are allowed to do a head count. It's the Department of Human Services. So for people who are asking, like, what could have been done here, you look up. Child care facilities are obviously rigorously examined, okay? There's a license. There's a licensing process that gets renewed every year. And at a random time throughout the year, there is a member of the state from the Human Services Division that goes to the kindergarten without telling them ahead of time, okay? And they obviously have the proper documentation when they're entering the place, right? And they do a head count, they look at the conditions, and they see whether or not the children are in like a stable condition, and if this daycare facility actually has like substandard conditions or decent conditions. And many of these places that he went to actually had this licensing process, And in that process, there were things that they had found, like, oh, there's like a open, kids had access to like hazardous materials like scissors and stuff, right? And then there's a proper documentation process that takes place where they say, okay, we are going to actually fix this problem. Thank you for informing us. We do not want you to revoke our license. So then they fix the problem, and then they file the documentation, and then that's either approved or not. If it's not approved, they revoke their license. And all of the places that this guy went to had, with the exception of the learning center, which was apparently closed because they had a bunch of instances where they had like substandard conditions for the kids. Okay. All these places had a person from the state come in and take a look, do a head count, and see that there's children there, right? Contrary to what the argument was, that there's no kids there. So unless you think, like, there's two things that could have happened here, okay? Either these guys know ahead of time or just like magically have. Are you taking the stance that there's no fraud happening? No, dude. Why is this so hard for people to understand? Of course, I'm not saying that there's no fraud happening. There is a fraud investigation taking place right now. What is wrong with you motherfuckers, bro? I swear to God. I mean, look, racism is a low IQ trait to begin with, okay? But you can't be this low IQ, okay? You cannot be so low IQ that you tune in to the broadcaster that speaks two languages, okay, when you can only speak one language and you can't even understand your only language that I'm speaking currently. English is my second language. It's the only language that you're supposed to know, and you still can't fucking comprehend the words that are coming out of my mouth. Your communication is shit. Is it? Is it though? It's my fault, you think? Because I've said it over and over again that there's an active investigation taking place into fraud. And some of that investigation even factors in childcare facilities. But that doesn't mean that every single childcare facility is actually hiding the number of children that they actually have inside of their facilities. And the way to figure out whether or not there are any kids inside of those facilities at all is not to randomly go out there like you're a fucking kick streamer and demand to see the fucking children. I didn't say that there's no fucking fraud. As a matter of fact, I'm very clear that there is fraud taking place. And the way to figure out whether or not there was kids inside or anything like that is not by just going out there with a fucking camera crew and being like, show me the kids. Show me the kids. Show me the kids right now. I need to see the kids. I'm a random adult. I need to see the kids. Oh, I'm no longer a random adult. I have my kid, Joey. He's not here with me, but I want to sign up little Joey. Yeah, who the fuck's going to believe that? The fuck? Of course they're going to be sus. You look like a pedophile. You sound like you are trying to do pedophilia, okay? If I'm putting myself in the shoes of someone that's working at that facility and that exact same situation happens, I'm either going to think this guy's a pedophile and he wants to kidnap the children, or I'm going to think he's ICE. And in either situation, I have an obligation to not open the fucking door. What are we talking about? Have you considered the fact that the people defending filming children without their consent are the same people who are defending Trump not being in the Epstein files? Yeah, there is truth to that.
After Shirley's videos went viral, Governor Tim Walz's office sent us this statement saying the governor has worked for years to crack down on fraud and asked the state legislature for more authority to take aggressive action. He has strengthened oversight. Walz's office also defended his handling of the widespread fraud schemes that have been happening for years by claiming he's now taking steps to stop it from happening, including creating a statewide fraud prevention program. But federal investigators are now looking into claims that for years Walz ignored whistleblowers who tried to sound the alarm on the fraud.
This guy now is scrambling to make it look like he's doing something. 2 weeks ago, he created a position with a guy to investigate fraud. 7 years too late, Timmy. It's time that we find answers to all these questions and hold everybody accountable that has ripped off.
Dog, there is literally, first of all, says you, okay? This administration talking about fraud is sweet, okay? Is real funny, okay? It is funny as fuck to hear from this admin about fraud. Like, we don't know what the fuck you guys are up to. But what's even crazier about it is that there is already, from the former administration, from the former admin, from the Brandon regime, there is already a DOJ case. I don't hate that they're eating Tim Spineless Walls. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't really give a fuck about Tim Walls either. Make no mistake. I already lost all confidence in him a long time ago. But if he is also, by the way, if he's also in any way, shape, or form involved with this, involved in the oversight issues, yes, he should be fucking punished 100%. Okay? Make no mistake. I don't give a fuck. Having said that, there is already a fucking investigation going on. This doesn't give you carte blanche to go in and blow up the investigation. You know what I mean? You can't just like do that. Okay? And you certainly can't do that to like other random fucking similar childcare facilities just because you felt like it. What are we doing? He previously faced criticism for a video he filmed in Kyiv, Ukraine, where he falsely implied that American tax dollars were used to buy luxury cars and install a Ferris wheel in the city. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Yeah, he's done a Israel video. And not only that, but he got fucking owned by a Ukrainian guy. A Ukrainian guy actually fucking debated him after this video came out.
Hey, Slava Ukraini.
POV, you're in Ukraine and you realize where your taxes are going.
Slava Ukraini.
Yeah. The Ferris wheel installed this location since 2017 after being moved from France. This has nothing to do with the American taxpayers. But yeah, he also did a fucking Israel propaganda too. He did a Israel version of this as well. But here is a Ukrainian dude fucking cooking this guy's ass. Probably the type of dude who hates me too, let's be real. Who thinks I'm also a fucking op. Yeah, he did a CCOP propaganda tour. He did a pro-Israel video.
Tweets I put out, there's a lot of context as well.
Oh, so that's backtracking because you had a massive amount of backlash from Ukrainians, rightfully. But why didn't you put that in the original tweet?
Because that wasn't the idea of the original tweet.
Do you understand why people in this country are pretty pissed off with you?
One post does not define everything I did while I was in Ukraine.
Well, I think what you were doing is to try and show that there maybe isn't a war in Ukraine. You were basically trying to ride this sort of Tim Pool grifter type wave saying, you know, pulling silly faces, smirking at the people of this country saying, this is where your tax dollars are going. You cannot avoid that. That is literally what you did. Everybody agrees. Everybody in the comments agrees. That's what you were doing. Why?
Wait, I don't get it. I thought this guy was apolitical though. Why is he why did this guy go from being a random Mormon guy to just like doing videos about how Ukraine sucks, is the greatest enemy of mankind, doing pro-Israel videos as well? When you see a guy like this do anti-Ukraine videos and then pro-Israel videos, then you realize like this is a domestic op, okay? Because like, depending on the allegiances here, okay, when you got pro-Russia and pro-Israel, I don't know who the fuck is funding this guy, but it's very clearly touching on a lot of the things. Like it's Tim Pool, okay? This is a Tim Pool moment.
Why can't you admit that?
Because I do not believe by making satire on the internet commits a crime by any means. And
Okay,
I do
so
not be going back.
this is a huge revelation. So you were actually doing satire.
Wait, he was at January
that
6th
post-
too?
So it was satire.
Is there anything wrong with satire?
I know exactly what you were trying to do. You failed in doing it because you've received more backlash and more hate than support, and I guess now you're backpedaling.
I wouldn't say that.
What would you say then? Where did you go in East Ukraine?
I went to...
Bro, what is coming up? This is 1 minute and 32 seconds at this point. This man is still coming up? What's up with the interview? Yeah, the guy's name is Cowlin Robertson. Yeah, he's a journalist based in Ukraine now. He does like he perma lives in Ukraine. I'm willing to bet this guy does not like me at all. usually these guys don't fucking like me at all. But
Isn't Bucha East Ukraine? Or I went somewhere where there was Bucha.
So Bucha is a 20.
bro, come on. You went to fucking Ukraine. You don't even know Bucha. You're like, oh, dude, what is it called? Bucha. I don't know.
I went to, isn't Bucha East Ukraine? Or I went somewhere where there was Bucha.
So
Yeah, he's
Bucha
pro-Drew
is a 20-minute
Pavlov.
drive north of Kiev. Where did you go in East Ukraine?
That's where I went. I went to Bucha. Is that not east?
Hasan Piker, Iran is very pro-trans. The Iranian regime forces gay people to medically transition as the only way to escape the death penalty for homosexuality. Yeah, that was the joke I was making. If you watch the video, I'm literally saying that Iran is maybe too pro-trans to a fault. That's what I was implying. Anyway, but of course, my ideological opposition is incapable of making a joke. Hasan is a moron, says Kalen reports. Yeah, Iran is the true transgender for everybody nation.
God, it makes me despair that you've come here, you don't even know the difference between East Ukraine and somewhere that's a 20-minute drive north of Kiev, and you've put out content that's genuinely extremely damaging. Nick Shirley came here to Ukraine and produced one of the most egregious pieces of propaganda I've seen since the start of this war. His video undermining the war and showing that apparent taxpayers' money is being wasted on luxury cars here has amassed millions of views, hundreds of thousands of comments, and it's been shared by some of the Kremlin's biggest mouthpieces. So I have an exclusive interview with Nick to find out exactly why he did this. Well, let me know when you're good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so I spoke to your fixers and they said that they took you to Bucha.
No, they are not. Did you not hear him just say he made satire? That sounds like a joke to me. Owned. Yeah, there's a difference between like heavily implying. The joke that I'm making is that the Iranian forcible transification methods that criminalizes homosexuality is bad. Okay? That's why I'm saying, oh, they're a little too woke. He's not saying that. He's just straight up saying that he's implying that Ukraine is just like stealing the tax dollars and buying a fucking Ferris wheel with it instead of like weapons.
Where there are mass graves. They said that they took you to a hospital that was bombed. Having seen all of that, why is it that you decided for your first report to be about the luxury of Kyiv and Americans' tax dollars being wasted?
Yeah, it's a good question. Quite frankly, I'm still putting together a documentary I had. That was a clip I filmed just walking around while I was in Kyiv. And I do believe that here in the United States, there's a lot of misconceptions as far as where tax dollars are being sent. And we have the right to understand where things are going. And that by posting a video like that doesn't make me a pro-Russian by any means. By every mean, I'm very pro-Ukrainian.
Well, you're saying there's a lot of misconceptions about where the American tax dollars are going. Do you think you're adding to those misconceptions by showing a few luxury cars in the...
I think he's slow. Yeah, he is. He is unironically slow. Yes, I also did cover that he collaborated with the Israeli state. Nick Shirley, who's being promoted by Elon Musk, JD Vance, and the entire conservative media sphere, is a fanatical Zionist Israel firster. He literally went to Israel to do propaganda tour just a few months back. All the Zionists are doing, oh my God, Somalis, oh my God, Muslims for Israel. I visited the Israel-Gaza border with the last mayor of Gaza full doc, where he stood where Hamas launched his attacks. He saw the destruction, the aftermath of October 7th, and the mayor breaks down the money trail to expose who profits from the war and who's funding the war. The documentary breaks down how Hamas operates and funds itself, the brutal history of Israel and Gaza, what life was like before and after Hamas took over in Gaza, why Israel responded the way that it did. This cunt has also been obsessively doing the Zionism. Oh my God, Muslim takeover of America. Oh my God, propaganda. He's literally a paid Israel first cuck whose job it is to produce slop, appealing to the base urges of the right wingers to make them forget about being slaves of Israel. Matt Walsh. Hey, Nick Shirley, I have some questions for you. Do you believe Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite? Do you believe Nick Fuentes and the Groypers are anti-Semites? Do you believe Ben Shapiro is an epic-based hero who's right about them? How much did the Israeli pedo-rape colony pay you to travel there to do propaganda video for them? Did the Mossad procure children for you at your hotel? And if so, what did you do with that? Okay, this is... Squirrel goes a little, beyond... Yeah. above and beyond here, but here is Nick Shirley with the paid Israel First propagandist cuck laundering the Israeli bombing of Iran when it was happening. They actually got him to do propaganda hits to ensure conservatives would rally behind the new war for Israel against Iran.
Iran and Israel are at it.
Yeah.
Israel launched some missiles at Iran, took out some of their leaders, and then
Yeah, it's the writing is fire, except jokes on Squirrel. Nick Shirley can't read. He is illiterate.
Iran just launched and landed in Tel Aviv. Where does this war go?
The effort, obviously, by Israel was to disable the nuclear program of Iran. Iran, who is the #1 funder of terrorism throughout the world, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis, all of them being funded by Iran. In this proxy war where Iran is spending...
Did this guy come out of nowhere? No, he's been making waves. Apparently he was at January 6th. I didn't even fucking know that, by the way. That's news to me. But he has been making waves slowly but surely. He was trying to do do you guys want to vote for Trump? Why do you want to not vote for Trump shit at like Yale? You know, that type of stuff.
Baby, let's go. Yes, sir.
We're here, king of the Instagram of Donald Trump, patriotism. What do you guys say?
Say we're gonna pull this thing through, stay strong, stay faithful, keep fighting. America's on the line.
America's on the line.
That's right. Stand up first.
Tomorrow, right here, Donald Trump is going to be talking to millions of people. And I'm going to try to sneak all the way to the front. I'm going to try to sneak all the way up into like one of these seats up here. I'm going to try to get as close as I possibly can. Tomorrow, Donald Trump is going to be...
Yeah, he was also brought up in an Antifa roundtable meeting earlier this year with Trump and other government officials, including Secretary of Homeland Security Kirsten Noem and Attorney General Pam Bondi, where he talked about the real threat to America being Antifa. So, do I think this guy is like a fucking federal agent? Not really. But then again, I do think that the government is, I mean, they're so bad nowadays that maybe they're outsourcing to Mormons again, but this time to the dumbest of Mormons, you know, because he's not the best and brightest of the Mormons. Let's be real. Okay. But I do think that the administration is open about like outsourcing their propaganda directly to YouTubers. That's why they keep bringing him in. If he's an agent, he's faking being stupid. If he's an asset, he's not. Yeah, I don't think he's faking it. Show me the smart ones. The smart ones you will never know of because they already worked for the FBI. I've been a day one hater of this Mormon guy. His mom chaperones him around everywhere. I followed him when he had 20K subs and was pivoting out of Mr. Beast style content. His mom is friends with some MAGA guys in the media, and that's how we got this pivot. Yeah, it's the thing is, like, this guy, just like Tyler Hitler Vera, and this one is like a much more recent channel than Tyler Hitler Vera. If you go back old enough, like, you'll realize that they were doing, like, he was doing 6 years ago, 100 pounds of dry ice versus truck, painful. Okay? Interviewing people at the Freak Convention, very dark people, running the world's hardest race, hanging out with Hey Big Mike, delivering Bud Light to Post Malone, went to his house, acting blind in public prank. Okay? Sneaking into exclusive Hollywood party, fail. And then somewhere along the line, they do he does like a right-wing video, okay? He does like one right-wing video, going away for 2 years, I quit, yeah. And then he comes back, he goes on a mission, he comes back from his Mormon mission. I interviewed illegal immigrants at the U.S. border. 248,000 views. We are under attack. Americans are angry. This is why. I tracked down illegal immigrants in New York City. I tracked down illegal immigrants from the U.S. border. I investigated the Texas border crisis with an ex-cartel member. I discovered a hidden migrant camp in America. Illegal immigrants are living for free in this city. I investigated the New York City migrant crisis. I caught illegal immigrants crossing the U.S. border. I investigated the California migrant crisis. How this country solved illegal immigration in El Salvador. I live with migrants in New York City for 24 hours, asking New Yorkers who are they voting for in 2024. That was the video that I actually watched this one. Asking Harvard students who they're voting for in 2024. Bro, this is the same exact fucking shit that Tyler Oliveira did. You even covered his video on stream earlier? Yeah, I did. I covered this one too. Yeah, LA protester believes U.S. belongs to Mexico. This was our city and this was Mexico. People need to archive this shit ASAP. This is getting deleted soon. Fuck no. These guys are shameless. No one will actually dive into this. Are you fucking kidding me? No one gives a shit. Everyone only cares about whether or not this person is like pushing propaganda in the way that they like that comforts them and the way that they believe the world operates. That's all it is. Like Tyler Oliveira had a similar fucking pivot and now has 9 million subscribers, right? If you look at, and I don't know if Tyler actually deleted his older videos, but yeah, no, he didn't. I'm the boss's son prank, college decision reactions, deny from every college, attempting to have fun, how PewDiePie's channel made a comeback. He does like Mr. Beast videos, okay? He does like Mr. Beast style videos, challenges, pranks. Then he tries to do like even the YouTube commentary stuff, right? The slop tuber commentary. And then somewhere along the way, let's see if we can find the pivot, okay? Because he did a lot more videos and he had a more successful channel than Nick Shirley did. Nick Shirley just immediately dove into the fucking MAGA shit, okay? But yeah, I trained like Arnold for 30 days, all this stuff. I mean, some of them are doing really well. Grandpa Slam Dunks on Trash Talking Hoopers, Ankles Broken, 14 million views, all this shit, right? And then let's see if you can notice the pivot, okay? Attack on Titan in real life, all this stuff. And then let's see if you can see the pivot. I dug out from underground prison, magnet fishing, used a toothpick to mine a real diamond, flew the Millennium Falcon. Brett Riviera called the cops on me. I investigated Ohio's toxic wasteland. I went to the incest capital of America. I investigated UFO crash sites. Boom! I investigated the city of real life zombies. 23 million fucking views. And then from that point on, I investigated the most obese city in America. I investigated Hitler's death. I snuck on the Jeffrey Epstein's island. That was one of the first videos I watched of his. I investigated the U.S.-Mexico border. I investigated America's vaping epidemic. So like every now and then he does like another, somewhat apolitical one, but it's just hog slop from that point on. Most racist man in America. Investigated a city that made being gay illegal. I investigated a city where only criminals live. I investigated a city that traps homeless people forever. I investigated a city where old people are sent to die. Underground city of mole people, blah, 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 all this shit. And slowly but surely, he's just like full tilt pivoting to I investigated a country where every drug is legal. It's just, look at these poor people. The Jew capital versus the Muslim capital of America. It's, look at all these fucking poor people. Look at all these black people. Look at how violent they are. Look at all these drug addled criminals everywhere. I went to the worst ghetto in America. And then he goes to Oakland. Yeah, I investigated a city where you can legally steal houses. Inside Pennsylvania's immigrant invasion. Inside the country that kills illegal immigrants. Do you see? Am I too conspiracy pilled or independent creators a way for mega rich to get around typical campaign laws, FCC regulations, etc.? I think this is partially because of the algorithm. Okay, I think the algorithm boosts this kind of content. People love this shit. Okay, a lot of these people are Europeans who view this. It's sad. Yeah, 100%. There are hogs all around the world, and certainly in Europe as well. The algorithm greatly boosts right-wing slop, okay? It greatly boosts right-wing slop. The difference between Tyler and Nick is that, I can't believe this, but at least Tyler Oliveira puts a little bit more effort into his videos, right? Whereas Nick just kind of goes out there and is like, blah, blah. But the thing is, that blah, blah, style content works even better. That's what it is. I feel like this is a manufactured pipeline for children, even if it's unintentional. I don't know. I exposed scammers in Barcelona attacked. Yeah, I remember this because this went viral on Twitter, but against them, where a lot of the Spanish people in Barcelona were saying you were harassing the people. They're actually pretty kind. They're like immigrants, and they don't actually give you shit. The reason why they were like attacking you is because you were fucking harassing them. Anyway. But this is a real meta. It's a real pipeline. People do this shit. And they masquerade as apolitical while they're doing this shit. It's like, bro, you went to fucking January 6th. You know?
Where to go.
Like, these guys are very clearly right-wing operatives, and they will lean into whatever the right-wing meta is at the time. But the problem is they can masquerade as like investigative journalists, right? And a lot of people eat that slop up. It's shameless pandering. It's incredibly fucking biased. And also, worst of all, from my perspective, it offers zero new insight. It does not bring in any evidence to the conversation at all.